Greetings, I'm Heather Lang-Cassera, the Clark County Nevada Poet Laureate, and I am so happy to be here with you today to introduce you to a wonderful local poet, Jamila Jam Poet Wimberly. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm so excited.
Well, thank you for having me, Heather.
Oh, of course. So I am thrilled because I know that we're going to hear you recite a poem. But first, I have a couple of questions for you,
Okay.
Poetry related, of course.
Of course.
So I know that you support the community and you celebrate poetry through something called the Jam LV. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. The Jam LV is an open mic that we host in downtown Las Vegas. We invite artists of all types, poets, musicians, singers, comedians, anyone who wants to come jam with us. And the cool thing about the Jam is that we've only been running it for about 2.5 years now, and it's just been a really remarkable thing for our downtown scene. A lot of the kids, I call them kids because everybody calls me Mama Jam, but a lot of the artists who come through really just love the space because we really focus on supporting one another and uplifting one another. Awesome. Yes, it's a lot of fun.
Oh, that's so perfect. That's wonderful. I love it. So if folks would like to learn more about the Jam LV, how would they go about that?
Sure. They can reach out to us at the Jam LV on Instagram, and you can also visit our website, thejamlv.com.
Awesome. Perfect. That's wonderful. It's exciting. Thank you for all that you do for the community. I just love hearing, stories like that and hearing about events like that. So I appreciate it.
Of course.
So I also wanted to ask you a little bit about advice you might have for beginning poets or for folks who think that they would really love to write poetry, but they don't know how to get started. What would you recommend?
Well, my ideas kind of go around like, when you're trying to learn something new, the best thing to do is learn something practiced, tried and true. And I always recommend starting with a haiku. Haiku is one of the most ancient forms of poetry. It's formulaic, and almost every poet has written a haiku. So if you want to get into it, that's a great way to start. It's a great gateway to understanding poetics, and also it helps you not only express how you feel, but also what you observe. And so I think it's just a great way to learn poetry.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm so excited. I completely agree. I've had the honor of running a couple haiku workshops, and I love how we can work on, painting images through words and playing with different contrasts. And you're right, I think that structure really helps both new poets and also those who've been writing for a while. It can be like a really good practice. So
yes, absolutely.
Such good advice. Thank you so much.
Of course. I'm happy to be here and share what I know.
Yeah, yay. So as you can probably tell, I'm absolutely thrilled. I'm so excited because we get to hear a poem by you today. Would you be willing to recite your poem for us?
Yes, I would.
Thank you.
This piece is called Love for My Inner Child. Shout out to my inner child, the little girl who chewed red rings off bologna, the kid with no elastic in her socks, the tiny tot who used rocks as chalk to play hopscotch, the girl who lacked currency but was full of culture, whose hair was sprinkled with daisy-shaped barrettes, the little girl who cuddled with 700 stuffed animals in bed, the little girl who knew every line on Friday that Smokey said, the kid who dreamed she could be as pretty as Aaliyah and be bigger than the stars, the kid who kept a book in her hand and a story in her heart, the girl who searched for 4-leaf clovers and made wishes on priest crowns blown, the real me who was never afraid to follow the North Star home. I'm saying this now because simply I don't say it enough. Thank you, my inner child, for never ever letting me grow up too much.
Yay.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, that was so wonderful.
Oh, thank you, Heather, thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that with me and with everybody at home. One of the reasons I love that poem, so first off, your attention to sound, just gorgeous. Just hearing you recite it is just beautiful. But it also speaks to me about, of course, maintaining that inner child and celebrating that inner child. And it makes me think a lot about taking up, a craft or engaging with the arts or writing poems. And I think that's a really great way to keep cultivating that inner child that each of us have, and that's so important. So I just feel really inspired because I got to hear you recite that poem. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Heather. Yes, I really love that poem. And you're right. Poetry keeps me connected to my inner child. You know, when we were kids, that's all we did, you know, write and imagine. And so I love poetry for that. And I think it's important for everybody to find a little bit of poetry in their lives.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Oh, that's wonderful. So thank you to everyone for taking some time for poetry today. I do have some news. So my term as Poet Laureate is unfortunately going to be ending somewhat soon. But what's exciting about that is that we will be able to celebrate a new Clark County Poet Laureate. So if you're interested in supporting the community and celebrating poetry as an art, that position might be for you. So if you'd like to apply, or if you would like to nominate someone, just reach out to Irma at the Winchester Dondero Cultural Center. Irma will be able to answer any questions you might have. Additionally, you can visit the Poet Laureate website, which is on the Clark County, Nevada website. It's a page on there. And you can read about the application process, and you can also learn about some of the current ongoing Poet Laureate programs, such as the Nevada Poets Online Open Mic and a book club we're doing, and lots of other exciting future poetry things. So thank you for taking the time for poetry, and take care.